Hello and welcome to The Nation. You're joining me, Elena Abla, and this is BNC, Benam News Channel. It's all about you. And in this episode, we have a very special edition. We have three strapping men in the studio today. And today we're talking about the topic of behind the boxing glove. Hello and welcome, gentlemen, to the show. Oh my goodness, I'm surrounded by men today. In the first seat there, we have Scott Patrick Farrell. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Ringstar Management Private Limited. And of course, next to him is Keng Fai Hui. He is, of course, a Ringstar fighter. And next to me is, of course, Mirage Khan. What a name. A Ringstar fighter. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about boxing as a whole. You started Ringstar Management quite some time ago. Tell us how that started and why did you start Ringstar Management?
Well, I mean, boxing in Asia has been lacking the big shows that Vegas and the UK and some parts of Europe are bringing to the scene, you know, with a strong live broadcast, very engaging fights, good one-match 50-50 fights. So I want to promote boxing in Asia and really bring the best in Asian talent and also some international talent onto this platform. And we've achieved that. And along the way, you know, I've got great guys such as the Miracle. In fact, he is a miracle, but let me tell you that right. As a miracle, he's here for one.
Okay.
And, then, and also Keng Fai. And they've both become champions along the way due to the fact for having this platform that Ringstar has built. And yeah, I take a lot of credit for building the platform. But again, you know, without fighters such as Keng Fai and Mirage Khan, this would be nothing. So I got into this to give guys like and athletes like these two guys here a great chance to get on the world stage.
Now, how did you discover these two athletes?
Well, Mirage I've known for about 8 years, and Mirage actually I sparred with once and he knocked me on the canvas twice.
Okay.
What a way to introduce yourself.
It was, yeah.
Seems like the perfect match.
Oh, it's so funny. I walked in, Alex Volodin, who's got the gym at Alex Boxing School in SS2 PJ, where these guys both train. You know, we've been friends for 10 years. Now, one day I meet Alex, and he said, "Hey, Scott, you used to box?" I said, "Yeah, I box a bit." He says, "Come down my gym and box." And with a group of guys, all having a nice time in Kuala Lumpur back in 2007, I think, 2008, somewhere around that time. And everyone's going, yeah, we'll all be there. The only person to turn up the next day was me. So I turn up on my own, everyone else is not there. And Alex makes me spot everyone he's got, and I beat everybody he has, easy, without even a shadow of a doubt. It's so simple. He said, wait, I've got this guy coming down. His name's Mirage, and he's like 19 years old, and he is, you know, he's good, heavyweight, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, bring it on. Guy walks in, he had floppy hair, glasses on, like a student late, who just handed in his own work, you know, little cheeky smile, gets in the ring, touch gloves, and I started to like wail on him a little bit, not hard, just sparring, and then he just goes down, hits me in the body, like, oh.
And that's done.
I'm like thinking, oh, that's not bad. Then about 10 seconds later, he hits me in exactly the same place. I just hit my knees. I took off my gloves. I went, right, I've done about 15 rounds tonight. I'm done. That's it. I looked at Alex. Alex went, told you.
And as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I could have done it in one punch, but I was just testing the waters.
Testing the waters. But how did you? You guys go back a long way then, a couple of years. But Keng Fai just came onto the team.
Correct. So then, with Mirage, we watched Mirage go through some. I did Mirage's corner and work with him, and not a lot of opportunities because Mirage beat everybody, right? So a lot of promoters and managers didn't want nothing to do with Mirage. Right. So that's why I started Ringstar, and then, as he became quite successful, getting more and more, I met Keng Fai, who was coming through then at Alex's gym. And Alex said, Scott, take a look at Keng Fai. So I took Keng Fai to a couple of amateur fights, you know, over the last kind of, I don't know, 3-4 years now, probably, a bit longer maybe.
3 years, I think.
Yeah. And, you know, Ken came down to Singapore, boxed against a guy that was meant to be like really, really great. Ken knocked him all over the ring, absolutely everywhere. And it was just kind of, then I said, right, Ken, yeah, you're ready, let's go pro. He went pro, and ever since that time, he's knocked everybody out.
It looks like you have winners on your hands.
Yeah.
Let's start with you, Mirage. Why did you get into boxing? What was it that drew you to it?
Okay, I'm Malaysian. I'm born here. I'm raised in Malaysia. My parents were Malaysian. But if you follow my heritage, I'm an Afghanistani descendant. So even though I'm 6th generation Malaysian, I may look like you, I may speak like you. Saya boleh cakap Melayu dengan lancar, right?
Yes, because you went to school.
Yes,
locally,
so but I would get picked on by the Malay kids, by
was
the
it because
Chinese
you're too
kids.
tall? Look different.
I told you I look different. I'm like same but different.
Same
But different.
Okay.
So I just had enough of it. So I just started boxing to lose weight. And feel more confident about myself, not to beat them back or bully them back, just to feel better about myself. I met my high school bullies after when I started boxing, and I just shook their hand like, hey bro, thank you, man. Thanks to you.
I thought you took them out into the streets.
No.
Okay.
I thank you, man. Thanks to you, I'm a world ranking 200 boxer right now.
Wow,
I
congratulations.
just wish you had a big picture of Mirage as a big fat
I
kid.
cannot imagine.
No,
How big were you?
I have to find that somewhere.
I've
seen it once actually. Yeah, I'm going to dig it out and send it across.
One
to you.
of these days. And you had a similar story, King Fai?
Bullying, yeah, I was definitely bullied a lot.
But you're not tall as tall as him. You're a bit smaller, so it's easier to bully you in comparison.
I was 94 kilos. I had high blood pressure.
Oh dear.
And
at what age?
That was 18.
Oh, that's.
And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna fight. I wanna fight. And then I joined Alex Gym. And never looked back. Yeah.
Right, but why was fighting the choice? I mean, there are a lot of things that you could do, building confidence or wanting to, take on your bullies. It doesn't necessarily mean fighting is the option.
I stayed in boxing because of the lifestyle. I like the daily training. You wake up, you go train. There's a lot of problem solving because you come up with a lot of plateaus here, and you think, I can't push myself anymore. But then you keep going. And then you break your limits. You push through these plateaus, and it's the constant problem solving.
Right. So it gives you sort of like a goal or something to achieve or something to constantly push for. Is that the same for you, Mirage, in terms of why boxing? Or I think both of you. It's not just boxing, but you've gone through a few martial arts and stuff.
At the end of the day, it's a very primal sport. You know, it's the most basic form of fighting, boxing, and there's a reason why it's the #1 sport in the world, and everybody's paying top dollar to watch it. It's a true way to test yourself. You know, it's the ultimate test, if you ask me. And I wish Malaysians could see it more too, because when I started fighting, the scene here was dead. I couldn't find any boxing fight. I was just rotting in the gym, just training and doing nothing. Right. But then Ringstar came along and
savior.
I mean, well, not really came along. We started it. You know, I was at the bottom.
Beginning,
I was there at the bottom floor with it. You know,
Right.
so it's like, hey, you know what? He came out to me. You know what? Let's make something here. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's give it a try. And next thing you know, we just punching people to hopefully they will recognize us.
We're seeing some visuals on screen right now. This is all the training, the rigorous training.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Perhaps,
That's from a couple of years ago, right?
Mirage or King Fai, you can tell us about what the regiment's like. What's your daily routine like? Start with you, Mirage.
Oh, my daily routine.
What time does it start and what time does it end? What do you eat? What do you do?
Pain and suffering. we eat pain and I eat pain with a side dish of suffering.
A side dish of suffering. And King Fai, do you
training
concur?
partner. We are teammates, so it's the same thing.
You share the
So
pain
we
and
share
share the suffering.
But no, there's a lot of running involved. People don't really see behind the scenes. They get to see us that 10 minutes or 20 minutes where we step out under those lights. Those are the only parts they see, but they don't see the hours of work we put in the running, the weight cutting, because we fight under weight category. So like this Friday, for example, I'm fighting in Singapore. I have to lose 6 kilos by tomorrow, so I need to.
How does that work?
So I have
normally
not.
that shouldn't be happening.
Yes,
Let's put that out there. But it
So
has
I
been
have-
through Harry Raya.
Yes, blame it on the Raya food.
And it's not a soda fight, just putting that out there too.
King Fai, we see you training here.
Oh, that's a terrible video. That was years ago when I just started, and I was
Maybe
like,
you should take these archives up. These are great.
they should have asked me for better videos. I could show a lot better than this.
But then you can see the progression now, and it's so far
Exactly
from
right.
how you were.
Yeah.
So what's how long? What I want to find out is, because I did ask you earlier before we came on, how many major fights usually are does one fighter fight in a year? And
Yeah.
you said between 3 to 4. And
Yeah.
what's the duration that each of you had to put in prior to a major fight? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? What's the timeline like?
Yeah, it's pretty constant for these guys. I mean, to go for Kang and for Mirage right now, I mean, those guys really need to be fighting 3 times a year. So every 3 months, I really need them to be fighting at some point.
So that's scheduled in?
Yeah, pretty much. And then if something big comes on along the way, then we have to sit down as a team and assess that. So really, they don't get a lot of break from it, you know. And I'm the promoter and also manager with the Ringstar outfit. So I'm kind of quite tough to deal with. I'm very nice, don't get me wrong, you know, and the guys will tell you, you know, I've always got their best interests at heart, but I'm quite a stickler for the rules and making sure that discipline's adhered to, this is done, that is done, you know, because I only want the best for the guys, you know,
but that's
safety.
what people don't see when they look at whether it's fighters or whether it's a professional athlete, the kind of rigorous lifestyle that they lead in order for them to be able to maintain at a certain kind of level.
Exactly.
So what, is it like daily? Is there any downtime at all?
Okay, so your question is like, how long is our fight camp, right?
Yes.
Usually it's 3 months, but for us, we're not so sure when exactly our next fight is, and we also believe that we don't want to have too much of an off season where we're just getting fat, you know, not maintaining our fitness. So what we do is, it's almost a constant. We're always in season. We're always training. We're always improving. That's what we do at Alex Gym. Right,
but that's to keep you in a decent form. But if when you know the fight is coming, what is that intense time?
Usually 6, 8 or
8
10
weeks,
weeks.
right?
Yeah, we
because
start
we're
really
already pretty fit, so it's just a short period.
Yeah.
We just need to push that last
spike for the
So
last 8
what
weeks.
needs to increase during that pre-fight?
Intensity.
Intensity is like we're already doing everything already. We just need to up the intensity a notch.
How do you then maintain that you don't get injured? Because that's one of the things that you're worried about.
Yeah, that is the
Very
tough.
tough.
There's no golden answer to this question.
It's part and parcel of the sport.
It's part of
we
the
do
sport.
get injured sometimes, but we
You
work
can,
around injuries.
Right.
If you injure your left hand, you work more on your right hand. You work on your footwork. You injure your foot, you work on strength and conditioning. You get on a bike, push yourself.
True,
You
Right.
can always work around it.
Does your coach, which is Alex Volodin, does he push you guys really hard?
He pushes us like crazy.
He pushes us all, you know.
Yeah, he
that,
pushes
right?
us all.
Every
And
single one.
sometimes I give it back to him a bit, you know. I
Is
push him
that
back.
him?
Ah,
it's
yeah,
one on the
there you
left,
go.
yeah,
The one.
The one on the left, the one who isn't
No,
smiling.
That isn't
There he is,
smiling.
There's our Russian coach. But he's very as strict as he is. He's very open to suggestions, and there's a give and take relationship because at the end of the day, we are the fighters. We kind of know ourselves and we understand our body. So we say, okay, coach, this training is not really boxing specific or something, you know, we need to implement more of this game strategy. So we'll have like an open concept where we have communication going. So that is why our team is working very well, because we constantly
that's
talk.
really key, because I think communication is one thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to, but that's the feedback and the constant.
Because at the end of the day, he needs to know how we feel, and we need to know what is on his mind, you know. So we always before we start the session, I tell him, coach, we will have like a 10-15 minute sit down session. We'll like, coach, okay, today what are we going to go run through? What is the plan? Okay, and then you tell back to him, you know, okay, not because we are lazy to do certain exercises or this is like, oh, we're like, oh man, not this again. No, we will do it, but you know, sometimes I prefer this one is better than this one in my mind.
Right.
And different things work for different fighters.
Different things does work for different fighters.
Which is also key.
Correct. Alex has a hard one, right? Because Alex, the whole thing about boxing and to be a champion is to be made as uncomfortable as possible.
As uncomfortable as possible.
So Alex's job really, these guys, and they're right what they're saying, everyone has a communication, it's to make them do things that they don't like doing.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
to get them through
Exactly.
that. Because like, you know, if you play football and you're great at kicking with your right foot, right? But then one day you turn and say, hey guy, I want you today to kick with your left foot. The least time resistance is, hey, no, I don't want to kick my left foot because I know it's really bad. I want to use my right foot because I'm really good with it. So it's kind of training the mindset to work on the weaknesses rather than keep working on the strengths. You know, and that's very important in a champion and a boxer's growth to become, you know, great, is when he can adapt, overcome, and have more skills and variety in his whole armor and skill set as a fighter.
Which is what I like what you bring up, because I think a lot of the things that an athlete, especially a professional athlete, learns in the process of training, and whether it's training on a regular basis or for a championship or being in a championship itself teaches them a lot of character. It's character building.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier in terms of, you know, how a lot of people go into a fight thinking that, oh, it's about violence, it's about, you know, putting everything into it,
Yeah.
but there's strategy involved.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about
correctly.
strategy. What are the strategies?
Yeah, I mean, it's complete humanity. It's reverse,
Yes.
isn't it? I mean, these guys, you know, if a guy in the street walked straight up to Mirage in the face, you know, and gave him a hard time, hey, I've heard you're this great boxer, I'm going to knock you
Yes.
out. Mirage ain't going to do anything. He's going to look at him and smile at him and say one thing: if you want to fight me, get to the gym, sacrifice what I've sacrificed, and get in the boxing ring, and you're welcome.
And
right?
pay me.
Yeah, and also
To
it
throw
needs to
a
be
punch.
paid. And I'm professional.
You can't hire me, you can't afford me.
You know,
Right.
so you know, and then there's fights where these guys go into that we look at. They look at the videotapes, we look at the opponents, and we know they've got to work out how to fight this guy without getting emotional, without getting dragged
Yes.
into his fight.
Yep.
Fight your own fight, so that these guys then can come out the champion and win. So they have a lot to do, lot to go through. And probably
we have concept of, you know, if a shark fights a lion, if a shark fights a lion, who's going to win? That question depends on where they are fighting.
Yes,
in the
in the
ocean
water
or in the
or-
desert. So
right.
that's what our concept is. You know,
Okay.
if you're going to go fight someone, okay, one guy is the shark, one guy is the lion. So we make sure the playing field is to our environment.
Right.
You know.
What kind of mental training do you guys do? King Fai, do you guys do any mental training?
Mental training. I study psychology. I've always been interested in sports psychology. So I do use some NLP techniques where we focus on getting ourselves to be really confident. We visualize things, and then we anchor ourselves to a certain pattern. Maybe I say I tap my knuckles after visualizing certain things, and then right before training, I'll tap my knuckles again, and I get that same feeling of confidence or viciousness, whatever it is that I want to
Right.
do. So there are all sorts of mental
Right.
training. Everything is mental. In boxing, it's all mental, but this is just an example.
That's right.
NLP.
And for you, Mirage, what's your
We do a
trick?
lot of because I'm full of tricks. No, there's a lot of world-class boxers. They train their mind as much as they
Yes.
train their body. Like for example, Vasily Lomachenko. You see him. You'll be doing crossword puzzles, hand-eye coordination, like doing very very quick pace. So I've incorporated them into my regime as well. So we do like before we start our training, we do like a small 10-minute session. We have like something going on in our board in the gym. Before we start, we warm up the brain. Honestly, even reading books is good for the brain.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah,
So I think in summary, it's not just a physical sort of like
no,
training.
no.
It's
There's-
a holistic
Yes.
training.
correct.
There's only so much your
Yeah.
muscles can take you. All these
Yeah.
top boxers, they're
Yeah.
not really just strong, they're smart.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we all watch a lot of movies, and they talk about heart.
Correct.
Beyond just your
yeah.
your,
Oh,
your
yeah,
punch, it's
yeah.
also, you know, your
Yeah.
spirit.
Exactly. A lot of, I mean, like these guys have great heart, both of them, without a doubt. And pretty much most fighters that I work with that I know have got a lot of heart. And sometimes, though, even though you have that, it's just not enough. You know, you need to have that mental ability to see yourself through as a champion, as the victor, as the winner. You know, all the training, all the skills. If you haven't got the mental approach correct and down to pat, you know, you are going to fail there mentally. But I mean, when it comes down to heart and digging deep, you know, you can ask any fighter, he never wants, he doesn't want to be pulled out of there, he doesn't want to go down, you know, and he wants to keep fighting.
It reminds me of what you said earlier about having the fighting DNA. So it's about being, you know, having it in
Yeah.
you.
I say fighting is in our DNA.
Yeah.
I believe it's in all our DNA. Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe some
maybe
of us haven't tapped
more-
Fight
into
or
it yet.
flight,
but
isn't it? You
Yeah.
know, fight or flight
We're
reaction.
animals.
You know? Yeah.
At the core, at the core.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the future, because this is what this is about, the future of the sport. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to be able to go as far as whether or not there's a fan base, whether or not there's
Correct.
potential for the future, whether or not there's enough following. So what's the future of the sport? This is for you.
Well,
Scott.
see, I mean, look, boxing right now is enjoying its fantastic rise again with people like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury coming back on the scene. You know, a lot of big fights happening around the world. We've built something with Ringstar now where we're huge from Singapore, going right across Asia. We're always on TV here in Malaysia and America, and pretty much, I think we're live now in 60 countries and 270 channels. But I want to bring this show to Malaysia, you know, and I want to bring it to Malaysia and really start to show to the world the Malaysian talent. You know, there's Mirage Khan, there's Kang Fai, and there's other boxers, you know, right now on the Manny Pacquiao undercard as well that also deserve to be part of this big show. The one thing that Ringstar does is we do it better than anybody else. you know, and that's why these guys are with me, because we want to do it right. We want to look after the fighters, give them the best show, give them the best platform, and also give the networks the best production. You know, a good home where they're sitting from home and they're watching on the TV screens and they're getting engaged with these characters, understand their backstories and everything. So if we get the right sponsors on board and the government involved, I think we've got a great chance to make this happen.
On that note, is there any support from the government and from any corporates or
in
sponsors
Singapore?
at
I
this
have
point
it
in
now.
time?
Yes, I've got quite a lot coming through. It's been fantastic.
What are you hoping to be able to garner here? So
yeah,
this is an opportunity.
I really would love the same. I mean, I was in Malaysia nearly 10 years, you know, and it's my dream to have it here and have Ringstar here, you know, the same thing at least once or twice a year. And I hope that, you know, that we can do something with the government and sponsors to help me make that happen. I'm not asking to pay for everything, you know, I'm not asking for charity or handouts. That's not who I am as a person. People who know me know that. But I'm asking people to get involved to make sure that we can grow this sport huge here. Like when Muhammad Ali and that fought over here in Genting, you know, I think it's back in the 70s, right?
Small steps, start somewhere.
Yeah, you know, start with us. That's where you want to start. Start with us and I'll bring you the best.
Now the next question, can you actually make money from this? As a professional sport? Because if anybody were to look into the future of this, is this a future for young athletes to look at in terms of, you know, charting their career path?
Yeah, look, I mean, let Mirage answer that question because he's been through it.
When I first started fighting, there was hardly any shows to fight around. They paid me 500 ringgit to get all beaten up and all bruised up, and then after the show you have to go and pay for your own stitches. So it's like you hardly make any money, and you know, it's not really worth the risk. But I believe like a big game players like Ringstar would to come aboard and break into the Malaysian market, because the people want to see fights, but there's no quality fights happening because no one is paying any money for it. But if there's a bigger game in town, they can have better fighters, the fighter can earn more, and better fighters will be performing that night, and people you know, will be getting what they're paying for.
Okay.
So
and on your side, do you think that this is a career path that you stay on with?
I say, wait, you were asking about if people want to do it, if other people want to do it, was it?
No, for you, as in that, do you see the money in it? Will you stay?
I'm staying in this.
Okay.
This is my focus now, that's all I'm doing. I have tunnel vision, it's pro boxing all the way.
Future world champion, by the way.
There you go.
Future world champion, you hear it right here, right now. There is not a welterweight in Malaysia as good as this guy, and he's only been in this game very, very small period of time.
Nickname Mean Machine, in it?
Yeah, Mean Machine.
The Mean Machine and the Miracle Mirage Khan. We have quite an amazing, well, two superstars here. We really hope that Malaysians would potentially see this as a future career goal. If they do want to, where do they start?
I'd say they go to SS2, Alex's gym.
Sorry
for giving that a plug.
Alex Volodin.
I mean, he is a great,
Your
great
Russian
guy.
torturer.
He's been here 19 years. He's been here 19 years. He's done so much for the community. He's helped people, you know. He's a very humble, no-frills guy that will tell you exactly the truth, you know, and that's what in this sport, with a school of hard knocks, one thing that you really need to hear more than anything else is the truth.
That's right. Do you guys see a lot of young, well, potential fighters coming into the gym, and you guys have opportunity to spar?
Not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, not enough. No.
Okay.
We're always wanting more sparring partners, and usually it's just me and him hitting each other.
Maybe they're afraid of you guys.
No.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm a very welcoming guy. Usually they'll have like new kids come in. Hey, Mirage, can I have a picture? I'll be like, sure, come in. You know, I'll teach them something, how to box and all. But
You
we
need
don't have.
more.
Yeah, we need more.
What can be done to sort of encourage them? Because I think a lot of people might be slightly afraid to start.
Yeah.
But once you get started, perhaps you get hooked on it.
Well,
but it's starting.
You gotta face their fears.
There you go.
Yeah, and also don't be afraid. Boxing's not all about becoming a professional fighter. It's about discipline, health, and wellness. So if you're going to go into this sport to just be a better person health-wise, you know, and feel what it's like to train as a boxer, then do that. And then if along that journey it changes and you feel something inside you where you want more, then the coach, people like Alex, will give you the opportunity to take that next level. So, you know, it's for everybody. It doesn't mean boxing's not just about fighting. Actually, boxing, defined correctly, is actually not a fight sport. You know, boxing is boxing. It's an Olympic sport. It's called boxing.
It is.
Fight sports is fight sports.
If there's one question I have for the two fighters, what is the main thing that you have taken away from your journey as a fighter, King Fai?
Journey as a fighter, I think we have to be courageous, and courage is not the absence of fear. We're always afraid. Fear is always there. You could get knocked out. You're training so hard, you can get knocked out in front of thousands of people. I'm afraid of that, but it's about overcoming your fears, I think. Yeah.
For you, Mirage, what is the one thing that you've taken out of your journey? You guys have been through MMA. You've fought in all sorts of ups and downs.
I've fought a lot. Every time I fight, I feel like I bring my country with me. I berjuang demi negara. But if it's one thing I say, it's you need hard work. Without hard work, it doesn't come. So, like I said, there's every champion. No, every person that works hard does not become a champion.
Right.
That is true. But every champion has definitely worked hard.
Correct. Well
So,
said.
There you go, working
Well
hard
said.
and courage in the face of whatever fears that you might have.
Yeah.
And if you step into the ring, what will you tell your opponents who decide to step into the ring with you guys?
We will talk with office then.
Usually, I tell my opponents, thank you for the fight, and I hope they do not stop at their journey. I hope they keep on pushing forward, and don't give up. Yeah.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
That's the end of the show. That was a fantastic, probably 25 to half an hour.
Thank you very
We
much.
wish the both of you the best for your Friday fight, as well as your fight coming in September.
Thank
And
you.
all the best for Ringstar. We hope
Thank
to
you.
see more professional fighters come out of our midst, and we have
Me too.
world standard events held here in Malaysia as well.
Brilliant.
Thank you for staying with us
Thank
to
you.
the end of the nation. That's all the time that we have. That was a sneak peek into Behind the Boxing Glove. Bye for now. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. That's
Thank you.
brilliant.